Imagine a rivalry so profound, so deeply interwoven with national politics and regional identity, that it transcends the game itself. When the giants of Catalonia and the Spanish capital meet, the world stops. This is more than just a football match. It is a cultural fault line, a historical reckoning, and the ultimate display of footballing genius unparalleled anywhere on earth. Two superpowers, two contrasting ideologies, two legendary clubs built on victory and pride. We are tracing the initial foundations, the cultural politics, and the generational players that define the most watched fixture in global football. This is the enduring conflict that defines modern football. This is the epic saga known as El Clásico. The origins of this rivalry trace back to the turn of the 20th century, laying the foundational cracks for a cultural and political clash that would erupt decades later. FC Barcelona was founded in 1899 by Swiss entrepreneur Joan Gamper, rapidly adopting a progressive, community-based identity that reflected the dynamism and growing industrial strength of the Catalan capital. Real Madrid CF was officially established in 1902 as Madrid Football Club and strategically grew to embody the institutional values of the central Spanish monarchy and the nation's capital city. Their very first official encounter took place in 1902 in the semi-finals of the Copa de la Coronation, where Barcelona secured a 3-1 victory. While these early contests were characterized purely by sporting competition and intense local pride, they lacked the fierce political animosity that would later define them. However, as the 20th century progressed, the club's identities became irrevocably solidified within the Spanish political landscape. Barcelona became the emblem of regional autonomy, cultural resistance, and the Catalan language, symbolized by their enduring motto Més que un club, more than a club. Real Madrid, especially after King Alfonso XIII granted them the Real Royal title in 1920, became firmly identified with the Spanish central establishment and a unified national identity. This early bifurcation ensured that their matches would inevitably evolve from simple sporting contests into profound statements of political and cultural allegiance. The tension wasn't manufactured, it was baked into the DNA of the nation itself. The intensity of El Clásico was brutally cemented by the Spanish Civil War and the subsequent, long-running Franco dictatorship, 1939 to 1975. During Franco's highly repressive rule, the Catalan language, flag, and regional institutions were systematically suppressed. This made FC Barcelona's stadium, Camp Nou, one of the only public venues where Catalans could defiantly gather and express their regional identity without direct persecution. Real Madrid, in stark contrast, was widely and often accurately seen as the favored, institutionally backed club of the regime. A perception amplified by their spectacular early European dominance orchestrated by the arrival of Alfredo Di Stefano, whose controversial transfer in the 1950s further fueled Catalan resentment. This era established the deep, ideological, and socio-political chasm that exists today. The rivalry reached a modern, strategic, and high-stakes apex in the 1990s, characterized by tactical genius, the rise of global broadcasting, and brutal scorelines. This was the era of Johan Cruyff's dream team at Barcelona, focused on fluid, possession-based total football and the development of La Masia, clashing directly with a powerful, pragmatically assembled Real Madrid built for quick results. Two definitive matches from this era perfectly illustrate the exchange of power. The 1994 Manita 5-0 to Barcelona. Under Cruyff, Barcelona delivered a stunning and complete demolition of Real Madrid at Camp Nou. The performance, spearheaded by Romario's clinical hat-trick and the midfield mastery of the young Pep Guardiola, was a perfect, humiliating demonstration of the tiki-taka philosophy taking hold. The symbolic 5-0 scoreline was a declaration of aesthetic and tactical superiority, an unforgettable victory that remains revered by Barcelona fans as a spiritual milestone. The following year, 1995 Manita 5-0 to Real Madrid. Real Madrid exacted swift, crushing, and complete revenge just 1 year later at the Bernabeu. Led by Chilean striker Iván Zamorano, who also scored a hat-trick, this victory showcased Madrid's ability to counter Barca's technical style with devastating directness and physicality. This constant, high-stakes trade of humiliation solidified the rivalry's reputation for sudden, brutal shifts in power and formally initiated their relentless and expensive arms race for the world's most desired global talent. The rivalry fundamentally transformed from a European phenomenon into a truly global cultural event with the simultaneous arrival and long-term, direct clash of Lionel Messi at Barcelona and Cristiano Ronaldo at Real Madrid, specifically spanning the era from 2009 to 2018. Never before in the entire history of team sports had the two consensus greatest players in the world competed on opposite sides of the same league, let alone the same, most historically charged rivalry, for such an extended and statistically dominant period. Their individual rivalry became the singular, unstoppable engine driving El Clásico's narrative and its unprecedented global appeal. Every fixture was meticulously marketed, analyzed, and fervently consumed as a direct duel. The quiet genius of Messi's intricate dribbling, creative playmaking, and unique technique set against the raw, explosive athleticism, unparalleled goal-scoring consistency, and commanding presence of Ronaldo. Their combined presence elevated El Clásico to a mythical, almost cinematic status, turning every single match into a personal battlefield watched by hundreds of millions of people across every continent and time zone. Their relentless statistical warfare, shattering goal records, dominating the Ballon d'Or awards, and accumulating team titles provided an irresistible, continuous, and globally accessible narrative that captivated even the most casual sports fan worldwide. The sheer technical quality on display, intensified by the tactical battle between managerial titans Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho, pushed both teams and, by extension, the entire global sport to unprecedented heights of financial spending, performance metrics, and tactical innovation. The entire decade will forever be defined by their dueling, transformative greatness. Today, the rivalry continues with undiminished passion, though the post-2018 departure of both Messi and Ronaldo marks the definitive end of its most statistically dominant era. Despite the star departures and Barcelona's subsequent complex financial restructuring, El Clásico remains the single biggest, most commercially valuable, and most symbolically potent fixture in the world, perpetually defining the landscape of Spanish and European football. The matches are now a perpetual crucible where the two core club philosophies are continually tested. Barca's reliance on technical, possession-based development nurtured through the principles of its La Masia Academy versus Real Madrid's pragmatic, aggressive pursuit of global star power, immediate results, and European dominance. The rivalry is currently driven by a new wave of emerging young stars like Vinicius Jr., Gavi, Jude Bellingham, and Arda Güler, who are tasked with immediately carrying the immense historical and cultural weight of their predecessors and continuing the legacy of high-pressure performance. The future of El Clásico, this fundamental rivalry, is guaranteed to endure, precisely because its deep foundations are intrinsically political, cultural, and ideological, not merely athletic. As football and technology continue to advance, the future of the Clásico may involve new external battlegrounds, such as the digital arms race for advanced data analysis, AI-driven player performance models, and dominance in the rapidly growing esports scene. Yet, the core conflict will remain: the pursuit of Spanish hegemony and institutional power versus the passionate defense of Catalan regional identity and autonomy. The primary challenge for both institutions is ensuring they can maintain the necessary financial and sporting dominance to sustain this rivalry's magnetic global appeal in an increasingly competitive and commercialized football environment. El Clásico will always be more than a game. It is the living, breathing, passionate, and often political narrative of Spain itself, ensuring that the world will stop and watch for every single match for generations to come.